Hi everyone, my name is Toni and Thomas, and I am from the Malvern community in Scarborough, and I am the lead head president and co-founder of Pouring It Out TO.
I'm Kristen Lewis. I'm also from Scarborough, currently living in Ajax. I'm the executive director as well as co-founder of Pouring It Out TO.
Well, the story behind how Pouring It Out TO started was literally back in 2020. I personally experienced some mental health crisis, and I was going through a lot of suicidal ideations, and it was through the conversations with my girlfriends that brought me to a safe space. And it was through talking to a therapist I realized that I wasn't alone on this journey. And it was having these heartfelt conversations, being raw and authentic. We realized that we needed to create a space for women of color. Oftentimes when we do go to therapy, it's not the same person that looks like you that's looking back at you. And with those things, we often find that we clam up, we don't say what we want to say. Safe places, creating healing spaces came from that ideology. It's the fact that we need to see more people that look like us in these therapist seats. And it was really and truly being as raw as we could be with each other and knowing that our stories might not be exactly the same, but it's very much similar.
As a collective and as a group of friends, we use each other to lean on, and in those moments where we feel like it's just us and then we get to talking to someone else, and like Toni said, we realize our stories might differ slightly, but there's a line of similarity. Like for me personally, I've gone through quite a few traumas in my life, and therapy has been something that I highly believe in and recommend. And I was fortunate enough to have a therapist who looks like me, so it really did make it easier for me to be able to download and trust her, and she understood to an extent where I was coming from. It's really important to have these spaces to be able to talk judgment-free, just unload if you just need somebody to talk or just cry on someone's shoulder. We felt better being able to have the space to talk to somebody, so we thought other women must feel the same, and we wanted to be able to at least be a stepping stone to provide that space. And if anyone who's afraid of therapy or wasn't sure, I personally could say, you know what, it is scary in the beginning, getting raw and real, but the way that it helps you, you don't even realize until you're in it.
So within our community, and I will say the Caribbean community, oftentimes we are taught that what happens in the house stays in the house. And we are also taught that you don't need to embarrass the family by telling your story. So we wanted to change that narrative, because if it stays in the house, then the problem will always be in the house. We wanted to take it out of the house and have those raw, honest conversations, because we're not alone in this situation. So it was the challenges of going against the grain, because it's your family. Who wants to go against family? Who wants to go against the people that you have to see and live with every day? But it was being able to tell people that you're safe enough to have these conversations, because it will heal somebody else. You're not alone.
On the idea of breaking generational curses, our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, that whole notion of, things stay in the house, it isn't healthy. And looking back on them now, I can personally see where communication and being able to talk about things like mental health would have benefited so many people. So I feel like for us and our kids and kids, we want to change the narrative. We want to make it okay that if you're not feeling okay, it is okay to not feel okay, one, and to be able to express that to someone, because it helps you. One of the things I say is the way out is through. So if I'm a person who I've buried things, just pretended like nothing was wrong, I'm peachy keen, I'm okay, and I realize how that affected me going forward, so work through it is really the only way to get past it. It will still be a part of you, but having that comfort and ability to talk about it and really just let it all hang out makes you feel more comfortable in yourself, and you kind of realize you know what, I'm still human, I'm okay, I'm allowed to have bad days, but then I also have the good days to balance it out.
We have faced as Black female founders in the nonprofit sector is oftentimes when we show up, they often think it's just another Black woman with the same old story. And when it came to speaking on mental health, when it came to talking about certain situations that a lot of people just look past us about, it was very challenging for people to take us seriously. And another part of it was, if they did take us seriously, oftentimes our ideas and thoughts were taken and used, but our face was never attached to it. So it's being able to navigate the places where they are actually showing up for you and helping you as much as they say. It's so hard to read people nowadays. Some people are not as genuine as you expect. So as much as we love sharing, pouring it out to you, there comes that hindrance of, okay, can I trust you? And how much can I let you know before you take advantage? So that's one of the huge challenge we've seen thus far.
The very beginning, we're probably a bit more open with certain people about our goals, what we see for not just the community, but like on a whole, like big picture. And certain things may have been taken, and like Toni had said, really credited us, and that's fine. I think on our side, it was more so like there was never even like really a conversation of gratitude or like, hey, thanks for that, or that really helped us, we might use it here. We're not the gatekeepers of anything, so it's like that's fine, but it's kind of some recognition would have been nice. And another thing I feel like for us is funding is a big one. Being able to actually get through with these funding programs, and we did have a major one that we did. We worked on it really hard. We thought it was going to go really well, and then at the last minute they were like, yeah, no, we're going with someone else, and we were kind of taken aback and dumbfounded a bit because the reaction we had gotten was very positive, and it was very much people that we meet and talk to, they're very, oh, we see what you guys are trying to do, we love it, we're here for it, it's so needed, but then the follow through or the support just falls through, like it's not there. So I mean, we've taken a couple of knocks, but I think at the end of the day, we're both really passionate about it as a whole. And I think literally just last week I had said, like, even if we just help one person, that's enough for me. Like, even if it's not on a large scale, a couple people here and there, that is enough for me. That means that what we're doing, it's helping someone's day, their life, helping them feel comfortable enough to talk about the things that they might not feel comfortable talking about with the people closest to them.
So I will say prioritizing self-care and wellness while helping others is a challenge. It is not for the faint of heart. Oftentimes, me and Kristen, we will have sessions and then have to debunk after and do like a little debriefing and check in with each other and see how we're doing, because it's often heavy. And a lot of times it's very triggering. We do find ourselves taking longer breaks. I know for myself, I am an empath, so it weighs heavily on me. So some days it'll be like 2-3 days I'm like out of commission, I'm sleeping all the time, and Kristen will be like, you okay over there, you're alive? But it's such an important part of being in this realm that you have to take care of yourself, because we always say the whole idea of pouring it out, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And a lot of times we were living on autopilot and pouring from empty cups, and we didn't get anywhere. So this time, when working with community and people who don't know you, it's so important to check in with yourself and understand, am I in the capacity to help others right now, or am I not?
Even for us individually, as Toni said, like, if at any time I feel like I'm not in the right headspace to be able to fully listen or give my ear to someone, I will genuinely just say, like, hey, I'm not in a space where I'm able to do that for you. I just need a day to just get myself together, and then we can come back and do it. I think also at the end of the day, I think for us, because it's such a passion, even sometimes we might end up pouring from an empty cup. May not be the best thing, but I do feel like the urge or the need or the want to help people is big for me. I've gone, like I said before, I've gone through my own personal traumas, and I know how I shut down. So I'm very self-aware of other people and what they might be holding on to. I feel like we're both empaths, so we both end up taking in what other people are saying. So making sure that we have that time outside of that to decompress It is a work in progress. I will not lie. We're still working on it.
Yeah.
But it's something that we focus on. We at least try to, and at least with one another. Like, we've been friends for 20 plus years. Like, we've known each other since like grade 3. So we know each other well enough to be able to also say, hey, you need a minute. I need a minute. Let's just take a minute and regroup.
An amazing message I can impart to the amazing Black community of creators and entrepreneurs is the fact that just take a chance. You never know. I think for myself personally, the reason why I wanted to start pouring it out to you is because I worked in long-term care and it was on a mental ward. And a lot of the stories that I used to hear and see from the person that showed up in those facilities to the person that started an amazing life, I never want to have regrets. So it's the fact that you just need to try, because without trying, there is no story.
That popped into my head was just jump.
Yeah.
We're big on, we've been discussing a lot about taking leaps of faith, how a part of our minds wants to know where it's going to end, where we're going to end up. We want to know all the bumps and things like that. But we have to remember that taking the leap of faith, it can work out one of two ways. It could work great, or it could be a little bump in the road, but that bump in the road will be the thing that helps you move past it. No mistakes are just mistakes. They're lessons learned, they're improvements, they're, okay, I did this, I know that doesn't work, so let me try this. So I feel like my piece of wisdom would just be to trust yourself, A, and B, take that leap of faith. Because, yeah, it might not work, but it also might work.
Oh, and let me say, a lot of the times your biggest supporters are strangers, not your family and friends.
True.
I'm Toni.
And I'm Kris.
And we're Humble and Hustling. What's your hustle?